The Cincinnati Reds have officially chased down the New York Mets and taken the final wildcard spot in the National League with 2 games to go. MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, and we are underway.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into MLB Game Night, where we cover every single game, every single night, as only the Locked On Podcast Network can do it. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, host of the Locked On Braves Postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. He's Steve Lennox, host of the Locked On Red Sox Postcast. Follow him on the X at Lennox on Baseball. And Steve, ton of stuff to get to here. Yankees and Jays both win. Mariners and Dodgers had a battle. The Phillies just keep rolling, 30 games over 500. But before we do all of that, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. New customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the FanDuel app today. Steve, I want to start off with a team that is now, as of today, in the postseason. The Cincinnati Reds in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers. Here is Locked On Reds host Jeff Carr about what happened for Cincinnati tonight.
And the Cincinnati Reds are back ahead in that final wild card spot. As much as you might think you know, you got no clue when it comes to this ball club. They head out to Milwaukee and they get a win in the first game of the series. Got a shot tomorrow if the Marlins do what they did on Friday night on Saturday. And if the Reds do what they did on Friday night on Saturday, they could clinch a playoff spot. And it was all about the bullpen this night because Connor Phillips, Graham Ashcraft, Tony Santillan, and Emilio Pagan shut it down. There were never a doubt when those guys came into the ballgame. Connor Phillips looks like a closer of the future. Tony Santillan and Emilio Pagan, I think fumes is generous to describe the fuel that they have left. But they are reaching back and finding every ounce of great pitching that they can find. And the Reds shut down the Brewers 3-1. They're back in that final wild card spot. Oh, by the way, a little side note, they clinched in a winning season. That doesn't happen a whole lot around here, at least not during my lifetime. So that's pretty fun to see. But let's go win another one and get to the playoffs.
Since he's won 5 out of 7 here, I want to find the face at the end of that is just getting me. What is more unlikely, that the Mets would fall out of the postseason after the start that they had, or that of all of the teams to finally make the Brewers lose a game that Quinn Priester started, it would be the Cincinnati Reds? Because the last time the Brewers lost a game Quinn Priester started, it was the month of May.
That's where I love the win-loss record. What's the record when they start or they're on the mound? And Priester's been outstanding. A great amount of credit to the front office for the Reds and certainly to Terry Francona, but of course the players on the field too. I mean, are there household names? Not up and down the lineup, not in that starting rotation, but you should certainly know Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Brady Singer at this point in time. And Littell was a nice pickup. Doesn't get credit for a win, but he and the bullpen combined to allow just 3 hits against the Brewers, who are just waiting to get going. I mean, they're going to play serious baseball again, but they're going to have to wait it out through the wild card round as well.
And it's like Littell was an acquisition from the Rays, but it's not just him. Miguel Andujar, they get him from the A's. He broke the 1-1 tie with the RBI single in the 6th, and then catcher Tyler Stevenson made it 3-1 with the sac fly. It's just like, we've talked about some of the teams that just completely screwed up the trade deadline or didn't get great returns from who they acquired. The Yankees, just struggled with some of the guys that they got. But, it's the Reds have seemingly nailed on everything. And I really feel like they're going to be able to hold off the Mets. We'll see what happens here. The Mets were in Miami to take on the Marlins. And you would think that this would be seemingly simple. I'll let you judge by the reaction from Locked On Mets postcast host Chris Schubert whether or not this was as easy as they thought it would be.
Of course, this is how the Mets series down in Miami goes. One bad inning, a 6-run fifth for Miami. That's the difference. Brendan Sproat was cruising until he wasn't. The Mets offense jumped out to a 2-0 lead, couldn't put their foot on the gas pedal, and with Cincinnati looking like they are going to take back control of the third and final wild card spot.
They did.
It's chaos time for the Mets. They need to win 2 over the weekend. Who knows who's going to be pitching for them? David Peterson could be coming out of the bullpen. Jonathan could be coming out of the bullpen. Carlos Mendoza could be coming out of the bullpen. Who knows what the Mets are going to have to do? Tomorrow is about as must win as it can get, and it's Miami, and it's bringing back all those memories of 2007 and 2008. But unfortunately, right now, there's one team that looks like the playoff team in this series, and it's not the New York Mets. It's the Miami Marlins. And the Mets are going to need to pull off a magic trick if they are to make the postseason.
Yeah, 6-2 loss here. And like Chris said, it's just one bad inning. All 6 of the Miami's runs came in the 5th inning. They got a 2-run triple from Herberto Hernandez. Connor Norby pinch hit 2-run homer. And then Sandy Alcantara's looked like himself down the stretch. He went 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts on 6 hits. Do you feel like the New York Mets are going to do this? Because to me, it feels like this is just in their heads now. Like this is at the point, it's more than just a baseball issue. It's a mental issue at this point.
Yeah, as you're talking, I've got Carlos Mendoza on MLB Network off in the distance, off my computer and camera. Stick a fork in them. I think they're done.
Yeah.
They jump out to a 2-0 lead. Lindor with a home run to open up the game. Pete Alonso makes it 2-0 against Alcantara, who didn't give up another run after the first inning. Alonso had a double to make it 2-0. They lose Brett Beatty, who's likely out for a while. Left the game with tightness in his side. That's probably an oblique. So you could probably expect 4 to 6 weeks, and he's going to go into the offseason recovering with that. They're bringing up guy to make his major league debut Saturday or Sunday. I would imagine it's out of the bullpen, Dylan Ross. So they've relied and they put 3 starting pitchers with great promise in a tough spot here late in the season, and they're relying on another young guy to come up and try to bail them out in some way. He may get, Chris saying Carlos Mendoza might pitch. Dylan Ross, just up from the minor leagues, I believe added to the 40-man as well. He may have to pitch back-to-back days.
Yeah. Well, Clay Holmes goes tomorrow against Yuri Perez, and Holmes, as a converted reliever, he's been running on fumes in the second half. And so you may need him to come piggyback Holmes tomorrow. And that's just that's the situation you're in for the Mets. But like Chris said, you're going to go, everybody has to be on the table, because if you don't win these 2 games, you're at home. Like this is your season. And I think about how, like, what happened to them last year, having to play an extra 2 games on an extra day of the season against Atlanta, and how Atlanta was so depleted just trying to get to that day, using all of their pitchers, that their game 1 starter in the wild card round was their number 7 option, and they just got obliterated. I think about, if the Mets do make it, feels like they won't go very far. A team that does look like they are going to go very far, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the Minnesota Twins. Talk about an easy game to wrap up with, or easy series to wrap up with. Here's Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies. A little bit of a different mood from him than we've gotten in our most recent short there.
The Phillies take down the Twins 3-1 in the series opener. Edmundo Sosa goes yard again, and Aaron Nola looked pretty darn good. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. I don't want to overstate anything, because it is the Minnesota Twins, and this is the end of the season. So you're not getting the best effort out of teams that have already been eliminated. But, man, Aaron Nola looked pretty darn good tonight. He had the strikeout stuff working, and the Phillies are starting to get some work from their starting pitchers. It says, well, Walker Buehler, Taijuan Walker, now Aaron Nola tonight. These guys want to be a part of the NLDS roster. So you'll love to see that effort. You'll love to see Edmundo Sosa going yard again. He's got 4 home runs in his past 2 games. He's ridiculous right now. And this team, I mean, they just keep winning ball games. They just keep winning series, and they just keep rolling into October. You love to see good momentum. And even though the games don't really matter, you'll take wins over losses. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Here's the thing. Rob Thompson said after the game, like, yeah, Aaron Nola goes 8 innings with 1 run on 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Rob Thompson said after the game he might have to work out of the pen in the postseason because they're so stacked even after losing Zach Wheeler.
Good problem to have. Yeah.
The Mets would be dying for this problem right now of too many quality starters in the majors.
Well said.
Yeah. Joe Ryan, 5 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts. Do have to wonder, is he on the move in the offseason? He should be. If he's available, he's going to be one of the top targets simply because of the low cost, the additional years of control. We'll see what happens there. I wrapped up my night watching Dodgers-Mariners. Really entertaining game. Dodgers hold on to win this one 3-2 in Seattle. They snapped Seattle's 7-game winning streak. First time Seattle's lost at home since August 26th, so just over a full month. Kike Hernandez got a 2-run homer in the third off of George Kirby. Tanner Scott, adventure in the ninth, 2-out double to Cal Raleigh, intentionally walks Julio Rodriguez. Mitch Garver gets hit by a pitch to load the bases, but Eugenio Suarez strikes out to end the game. What's the stat we always talk about when a team barely loses?
Runners in scoring position.
1 for 13 for Seattle. They kind of did this to themselves. So, but yeah, Raleigh 2 for 5, single double, 3 strikeouts. Did not get another home run in this one. In just a minute, I want to talk about the American League East. I want to talk about the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, what they did tonight. We'll do that next, right here on MLB Game Night. Fellas, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. Because this isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula. So you can both get hard and go the distance. And the effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple and 100% online. You connect with a board-certified doctor, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. So if you're ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom, head to Rougiette.com. That's RUGIET.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rougiette.com, RUGIET.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so they know we sent you. Putting a bow on that first segment, forgot to mention this. You had this on the rundown. Aaron Nola is now number 2 all-time for strikeouts among the Philadelphia Phillies, behind only Steve Carlton. What an achievement. I did not think he was going to be at that point in his career, but he absolutely is. So, all right. Yankees fighting. They've been tied with the Blue Jays for first place in the AL East. They're hosting the Baltimore Orioles this weekend. Here's Jay Berman from the Locked On Yankees postcast about game 1 of that 3-game set.
All right, folks, buckle up. What a 48 hours it's going to be on Saturday and Sunday. Yankees beat the Orioles tonight 8-4. Toronto beat Tampa Bay tonight 4-2.
Getting to
Both
that, Jay.
Toronto and the Yanks are 92-68 with 2 games to play. In the 8-4 win for the Yanks over the Orioles, Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 home runs. Aaron Judge hit another as well. The support went to Will Warren, who wasn't great, 5 innings, 4 earned, but does earn the victory. Now, Saturday, an early game for the Yanks, 1 o'clock Eastern time start. Cam Schlittler gets the call for the Bombers. On Sunday, Luis Heel will get the start. That game will begin at 3 Eastern. Again, Yanks win. Blue Jays win. They're still tied with Toronto owning the tiebreaker.
Giancarlo Stanton hit 2 home runs tonight. He has 23 homers in 70. He has a 46 home run pace for a full season. Like 46, 47
He's never going to play
runs.
a full season.
He's never going to play a full season, but right now he's at the base.
Yeah.
According to YES, tonight was the 58th time that Judge and Stanton have homered in the same game. There's only 7 pairs of teammates who have done that more often than these 2 guys.
Do you have the top of the list there?
I do not have the top of the list.
Okay.
It's driving me nuts. I wish I had that. I'll look for it. You go ahead. I'll
no, that's okay. Yankees have won 6 in a row. Season high 24 games over 500. Jay mentioned Warren. The bullpen did a nice job. 5 relievers combining for 4 scoreless innings. Trevor Rogers giving up all 3 home runs, the 2 to Stanton, the 1 to Judge. And Judge, that put him up in the 3rd inning. That put the Yankees up by a score of 4-3. Rogers' final start of the season ends up with a loss 9-3. I would imagine he's at the front of that Orioles rotation in 2026, but they've got to build behind him.
Yeah, he's been very good. I did find the list here ahead of Judge and Stanton: Harmon Killebrew and Bob Allison, Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones, the only guys on this list with the same last name, Billy Williams and Ron Santo, Duke Snyder and Gil Hodges, Willie McCovey and Willie Mays, the only guys with the same first name on the list, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, and then Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Everybody forgets about Eddie Matthews on those teams.
Always, right? Yes, always. I knew I would have said Ruth Gehrig first, but yeah, Eddie Matthews. There's some great stories about that, man.
76
that's
to 75. It's close.
Yeah.
It's really close between those two groups.
Love it.
So you heard Jay mention it earlier. Rays at Blue Jays. The Blue Jays double up the Rays. They win this one 4-2. The Jays have now won 2 in a row. They do hold the tiebreaker. That's the big thing here. And we were kind of working this out before we got on the air. Shane Bieber pitched today, 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Did give up back-to-back homers. Junior Camanero's 45th and Jonathan Aranda. Camanero is now 1 homer away from the Rays' single-season record. Curious to see whether or not he gets that over the weekend. But Jeff Hoffman in the 9th, little bit shaky for Toronto. Walked 2, but straighted runners on 2nd and 3rd. My thing is, go ahead.
Remember, he left the bases loaded against the Red Sox on Thursday as well.
He's doing everything. He's like a sleeper agent doing everything he can to not let the Blue Jays win this. I'm curious about like the pitching matchup. They have Trey Yasavage going tomorrow, the young, impressive rookie.
Yep.
And then Sunday's still a TBD, so we have to find out what happens. Schlitter, Yasavage, 2 young guys called up late in the year, both making starts, potentially with the division on the line. So it's a youth movement this year from a pitching perspective, all over really.
And if it matters for the Blue Jays on Sunday, they're in line to use Kevin Gausman in the regular season finale and not have him available. They're really rolling the dice here. If they have to play a wild card round, Gausman would not be available for the opener on Tuesday against what's probably going to be the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's going to be – they really need to win. And again, they have the tiebreaker here, so they are in a better position than the Yankees are. If they just win their games, they're done. They have this. But Tampa Bay wants to play spoiler because if they use Gausman, I don't believe they're going to have Bassett or Barrios back in time. And so you're kind of stuck on pitching if you do that. It's going to be fun to watch.
Max Scherzer. Next man up.
I'll start for you. 42-year-old Max Scherzer. All right. The Tigers were in Boston to take on your Red Sox. And Red Sox came back from a 3-0 deficit to win this one 4-3. And I understand you guys are almost undefeated in those green Monster City Connect jerseys, right?
I think yes, they've got a winning record in the Green City Connects. But Cedar Rafaela RBI triple on the bottom half of the 9th inning against Tommy Kahnle. 12 walk-off wins this season for the Red Sox. 6 in the Green Monster City Connects.
I mean, they are probably the best City Connects in baseball. And as somebody who likes Atlantis, those are really nice. Those are good.
After seeing the Blue Jays over the last couple of days, that might be the other end of the
Tigers here lost 9 of 10. They've lost 12 of their last 14, and they had won 5 in a row in August, and since then they're 8-21. Kind of moving the team that's that's competing with them here. The Guardians were hosting the Texas Rangers. Here's Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians about that matchup.
Well, that was a big letdown. The Guardians going into a big weekend against the Rangers and came out a little bit flat. But all is not lost for the Cleveland Guardians on Friday night. Justin Latta here from Locked On Guardians. The best news of the night is the Tigers bullpen blew it again. So the Guardians' magic number falls to 2 to clinch the division. They'll wait the Astros game on Friday to see if that wild card spot goes down to 1 game. But Slade Ciccone gave a 3-run homer in the first inning to one of the Rangers' worst hitters this year. That was disappointing. He was good after that. The bullpen was good, except for Jake Junis, who, of course, we've been praising all year long about how good he's been. He gave up a couple bleeders in this one, and the offense was flat all night. Kyle Manzardo hit a home run, which we said he needed to get going in this series offensively. And after that, hits at bats were back to the struggles he's been having the last few weeks. Offensively, they got nothing else going. Gabriel Arias had a good night. He had a double and a base hit after I said he wasn't going to have a good game. So, of course, Guardians had a rebound on Saturday. They have a chance to clinch a playoff spot on Saturday with a win if Houston loses on Friday night, or if the Tigers also lose on Saturday and the Guardians also win. So things are not all lost. Things still look good. The Guardians still control their own destiny. We'll have more from Locked On Guardians. Tune in.
My question to you, if the Tigers somehow hold on and stay ahead of the Guardians, do they owe Jack Leiter a gift basket? Because in August, struck out 10 in 7 scoreless innings. Today, 2 runs, 7 innings, struck out 10. So 2 earned runs in 14 innings and 20 strikeouts against the Guardians. If the Tigers win this by a game and they go to the postseason, Jack Leiter gets a playoff share.
He gets a playoff share. Not just a gift basket, a playoff share. Leiter's on my list.
He still want a league minimum deal. Give him some money.
Yeah. For some guys, and he's one of them, Hunter Green's another, although we could see him in the postseason with the Reds. I've got a long list of young pitchers. Leiter's on that list. I'll put him in the top 10 of guys I want 2026 to start next Wednesday, because I want to see him. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he establishes himself next year. But 2 terrific outings, August, September, against Cleveland, like you said.
Yeah, and so, again, Cleveland's lost 6 in a row. They lost 6 in a row in August, got shut out in 3 straight games. And then now, obviously, they've dropped 2 in a row here. But the Tigers are not helping themselves there. And so Guardians are still in position to take the division. All right. In just a minute, I want to talk about some of the teams that are, Cardinals, Cubs. Cubs are like in the postseason, but they're still playing games. We saw the Astros and Angels matchup, and then the Diamondbacks last gasp to make the postseason. We'll get to all of that next right here on MLB Game Night. The NFL season's here. The MLB playoffs are right around the corner, and FanDuel's making sure you're ready for all the action with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you'd like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game even more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just trying to find another way to have a rooting interest during the postseason. It's quick and it's easy. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Lindsey Crosby, Steve Livingston will be Game Night. Chicago Cubs are comfortably in the postseason. They have the number 1 overall seed. They likely are not going to lose that to the Padres. They hosted the Cardinals. Here is Sam Ober from Locked On Cubs to talk about if the Cubs kind of could right the ship and some of the achievements that they reached tonight.
How can we convince the Padres to pick up Miles Michaelis before the postseason? I'm Sam Oler from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Michaelis actually wasn't as bad as he was on July 4th, but the Cubs just seem like they get right against him this year. PCA 30-30 season. Seiya joined the 30 home run club. Those two I would say would be the biggest story of the game. It's 3 homers in 2 games now for Seiya. Exactly what we were looking for before the postseason in this Cubs 12-1 victory. Get guys like Pete going. Get guys like Seiya going. Kyle Tucker returned to action, had a base hit and a walk. That was really good to see. Colin Ray pitched really well again. He's pitching himself in the conversation. Really nice job by the Cubs. Their magic number is 1 for home field for this wild card game, and it's really nice weather out there. Maybe the Cubs, maybe the April and May Cubs will come back for October if that's what the weather's going to be like at Wrigley, because it sure looked like that on Friday afternoon. Cubs with a 90-win season. That's pretty special.
That is pretty special. PCA is the first Cubs player, if I saw this right, the first Cubs player to have a 30-30 season, and there's now a record 6 in Major League Baseball this year between PCA, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Jose Ramirez, Corbin Carroll, Jazz Chisholm. And we are pretty close to having another guy join that group because Julio Rodriguez is at 32 homers and 28 steals. So he could join that group over the weekend.
And Arozarena, stolen base, didn't give Raleigh an opportunity on Thursday.
Yeah.
Did pick up,
He's
I believe,
3
his
homers
30th
short
on the season. Yeah.
Yeah, 30 stolen bases, but
probably
3
gets a day
homers
off.
short.
Probably gets a day off Saturday or Sunday too. Good for PCA because the season, he's got 37 doubles too mixed in there as well. But just his third home run in his last 55 games. But Seiya Suzuki seems to be coming around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to now it's Cubs Padres. I mean, I go back to 1984. I know you don't go back to 1984, but I remember that ball going
so
through.
I technically do go back to 84 as well.
I remember Leon Durham, that ball going through his legs though. Back in 84. So again, as always, I like to date myself, but the Cubs are the Cubs and Tigers, at one point best teams in baseball. Until they weren't, but 90 wins, as Sam mentioned, and that's an impressive number.
Yeah, big question for me is going to be how do you follow this up? Kyle Tucker's going to free agency. What do they do after this? He didn't return to the lineup, by the way, tonight. 1 for 4, single and a walk. Batted fourth in the lineup. Was the designated hitter. Did not play the field, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Cubs only their second win in the last 8 games, but if they get one more, as Sam said, they are officially locked into the number 1 seed. Cardinals, flip side of that, second losing season in the last 3 years. A little tough there. Talking about a losing season, my Atlanta Braves actually dropped their matchup with the Pirates 9-3. Pirates have now won 5 of 6. This is something Braves won 10 in a row. That streak was broken by the Nationals in the series finale on Wednesday. They did lose this one as well. Spencer Horwitz was a one-man wrecking machine. 3 for 3, 2 homers, 4 RBI. Tommy Pham got a big fly in there as well. Atlanta got a 2020 guy, Michael Harris. He stole 3 bases this week. He hit, he stole 4 bases this week and 2 home runs this week. Today was the home run he needed for 2020. But didn't matter because they went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position outside of that, and then gave up 4 runs in the 9th to make it a blowout. So you don't win a lot of games that way, but fun pitching matchup if you want something that's not a postseason implications game. Bubba Chandler versus Spencer Strider on Saturday. That'll be fun.
And I give credit for Strider, and I don't think I'm not trying to make anything of this, but he's closing out the season. He'll make that one final start. How far into next week before Brian Snitker makes a decision on his future as the manager of the Braves?
The fact that he didn't come out before this series and say that this was it, and he's mentioned about the way that the season went and kind of feeling bad about that could be his last season. I think he comes back. Last week it's hit me. They had that winning streak. Either they had that winning streak because he told the players he was leaving and they all got fired up to win, to put him out on a good note, or the win streak told him hey, I can come back and we should be a much better team if we don't have all these guys, all these starters on the 60-day IL. I think he's back next year. I think he does his 50th year in the organization as the manager and tries to go out with a playoff appearance.
And then senior advisor after that.
All right. We've got about 5 minutes. We've got about 5 games here. White Sox at Nationals. Nationals kind of blow this one. White Sox get 2 runs in the 9th, beat them 10-9. Colson Montgomery has been up half the year. He's got 20 bombs for the Chicago White Sox. Lennon Sosa had 3 hits, including a homer, 3 RBIs here. And this is just something where their 5-game losing streak is done. And I'm really seeing how maybe not the pitching yet, but the offense of the White Sox can have them into a contending team next year because these kids have all taken their lumps and they're all doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, but I heard some comments this week from some sports talk radio guys in Chicago of, hey, okay, they didn't lose 120 or more this year, but they still lost 100+ games. What are they going to lose next year? 90? I would dare say, I don't think they're going to be 500.
No.
But they're going to get closer. Next year's another step, and this was a step. Colson Montgomery, Kyle Teal, the pitchers that they established here, the pitchers that made it through the season healthy at the end. I'm not buying into the White Sox just yet, but they're closer.
Yeah. They are closer. All right. Hey, 500 team in the National League would put you close to a wild card spot. The problem is they're in the American League. All right. Astros beat the Angels 4-3. Mike Trout solo home run here in the 4th, then a solo home run in the 8th. So that's 3 in the last 2 games, 25 on the year. I didn't think he was going to get there based on how he did earlier, but with the loss, Houston's now a 1 game behind the Tigers for the 3rd AL wildcard spot. So they need a bunch of help if they want to be in here, if they want to make it to October as well.
Looking forward to see the team that gambles and talks to the Angels about a trade in the offseason for Mike Trout.
Phillies will do it. Watch the Phillies. He's a local kid. All right.
It.
Royals at A's. A's win this 4-3. Shea Langoliers has a 2-out RBI double in the bottom of the 9th. This is something where, Jacob Wilson tied it up in the at 3-3 with a 2-out, 3-run double in the 5th. All 7 runs in this game came with 2 outs. We got 2 more games here. I'll take the Diamondbacks Padres. Padres beat the Diamondbacks 7-4. Fernando Tatis had a grand slam in the 4th inning, part of a 5-run inning. His 4th career grand slam. Luis Arraez, heading to free agency this year, had a 4-hit game. And Mason Miller, 1 in the 3rd scoreless, 3 strikeouts to get the save, which eliminated the Diamondbacks from postseason contention officially.
The Rockies are not going to lose 120 games on the season, Lindsay, but they still could lose 119.
Yep.
Giants beat the Rockies 6-3 Friday night in the series opener in San Francisco. Willie Adames, Elliot Ramos both hitting home runs. Trevor McDonald, 7 innings, 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, picks up his first big league win, did give up a 3-run home run to Ezekiel Tovar. That 3-run home run accounting for all 3 runs for the 43-117 Colorado Rockies.
Yep. All right. That'll be MLB Game Night for Friday, September 26th. Do us a favor. If you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, wherever you reach podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because MLB Game Night is every single game, every single night. Steve and I will be back here tomorrow because this is early playoff baseball, essentially, across Major League Baseball. For Steve Lennox, I'm Lindsey Crosby. This has been MLB Game Night.